All right, so we are in the small blind here. This type of hand against late position opener, just like we had talked before about whether 3-bet or not. This one is tricky, and I would say it's a call. Yeah, it's a decent call. First of all, you have the nut suit, so you're fine calling here. And you're going to have, well, from the small one, first of all, what is your calling and 3-betting and folding range? Yeah, folding, of course, are the poor hands. What is your calling range? Weak aces, you can call to back raise if the big blind is squeezing. Weak kings, you know, ace, king, 10-8 with a 10-eye suit. So all this type of high card hands, which are doing fine against button, which are playing fine multi-way, but are kind of not good enough to 3-bet. And this one will be, this is probably one of the worst hands. If you have ace 10 9 5, you could fold, but actually with a nut suit, I don't think I'm folding ace 10 9 and any other card. I think I'm playing ace 10 9 5 is actually better because you have a real draw, so you have ace 5 and 10 9. Yeah. All right, so let's see what happened here. Looks like a multi-way pot again. We are definitely completing here, and big blind calls as well. So once again, we flop. I mean, we flopped nuts basically. Yeah, we got it nuts. Remember, keep in mind this is 1-2 pot limit Omaha, so we are 200 big blinds, over 200 big blinds deep. Actually, let's check this again. Yeah. Oh, it's actually going to be interesting. So we decide to lead again, and I like it a lot. This is a really sick spot if you lead and big blind kind of jams, and under the gun or MP comes over the top. There you just have to muck them, because you're gonna be it's so sick actually. I don't know, you probably call. No, I don't know, it's gonna be very tough. You probably still have to fold, because you're gonna end up running into top set too much, or middle set. Against middle set we are doing kind of no, you have to bet fold. So anyway, we lead here. Yeah, if someone re-raises over the top of someone, you just fold, unless you have a read that the guy's splashing. MP does raise, and pretty small, and this is very confusing. If you check the pre-flop action once again, we can see he flat called pre-flop, and we are deep. So what is his pre-flop flat calling range? I mean, it's probably pretty wide against under the gun. Well, actually, no, it's not that wide, given we have the cutoff who's short stacked here, and we have the big blind who's short stacked. So cutoff is likely to be 3-betting here. So, you know, he could have a hand which is, yeah, hands he want to back raise with, kings, aces, strong broadways, which he's probably 3-betting because they're playable, so they play so well, like ace, king, jack 10, double suited, he should be 3-betting. I mean, he might be calling this. Yeah, it could be. He could be calling this. I mean, super strong broadways, he's probably 3-betting. But even then, he probably calls and plays them as the same ways he would play bad aces, or even good aces. I mean, really good aces he wants to be 3-betting, like ace 8, 8 9 double suited, and so on. But he doesn't have them as often pre-flop. Yeah, and then he's got, you know, rundowns and all this type of stuff in his range. Anyway. So flop we bet and he raises. This is very tricky spot. I mean, our hand is just so strong. We are like fearing getting it in against aces or tens or sixes. But sixes probably, yeah, sixes, pocket sixes are raising small. That is probably true. And I would assume aces raise bigger. Same for tens. Against sixes, we are doing way better than against tens. And he could have a draw, some type of a weird draw. So the decision is whether we want to be 3-betting this, and if we want to be 3-betting, we don't want to be potting this. We want to be going for maybe like 118. It is a difficult spot to balance, actually. I mean, you're never bluffing if you 3-bet this, so then you could go for pot. But the problem is, if you just pot this, it just looks like what it is. Aces, ace 10 with a flush draw, any set, well, not any set tens and aces for the most part, not pocket sixes. It would be too loose to 3-bet this. And what we need to know here, well, we don't know anything about the player, but the decision, if you don't know anything about the player, I think I'm calling, because we have the nut flush draw. I mean, what are we really worried about? Yes, there are so many draws, like 7, 8, 9, king, queen, jack. But let's say he's got ace 10, king, jack with a king high flush draw, and raises this and gets it in. Then we are not doing too great. I think we are still fine because we've got the nut flush draw. Nut flush draw is just so huge. But we also have a hand here, which is like the strongest hand we can have to bet call and protect our calling range. If we are raising this hand and we are raising aces, and we probably could call aces and raise tens, re-raise tens, but we don't really have any other calling ranges here. Ace 6 is a lead fold. I mean, we are not lead calling ace 6. Ace 6 we are probably not leading anyway. But we could have, king, queen, jack with a flush draw, which we let out here and would just call a raise, but then our range becomes way too draw heavy. And when you are calling a raise or calling a bet, you want to think about which turn cards your opponent is likely to be firing on, which actually also help your range. So in this case, any flush, you're happy about so many turn cards. Your visibility is pretty good here. So calling would be the play, actually. So if we call, let's say we call it's 88, and then we are calling, what is our decision for the turn? Let's see what hero actually did here before we talk about the turn. Yeah, hero decided to re-raise.